Hi, and welcome to New Genesis Comics Presents To Be Continued. I'm Nathan, and to my left is Andy, and to my right is Tyler. And this is our new podcast that we're going to be doing weekly, where we're going to talk about the new week's books or things we think you should be checking out. We're located in Fort Collins, Colorado, at 1552 Riverside Avenue. The shop has been open for about 2 years now, coming up in March, and is run by Andy and I. Tyler here is a customer and a good friend, so he is helping us to set this podcast up. Anything you guys want to add to that?
Just that this is my shop as well, and that we sell comic books.
And yep, I've been frequenting here for quite a while, and we're basically just here to provide you guys with all the information that you want to know about the most up-to-date stuff in the wonderful world of Marvel and DC. And
we're also giving our own opinions on what we think you should be reading.
Because our opinions are totally important, and you should listen to us.
Exactly.
And, you know, I don't know about you, Tyler, but Andy and I have been reading comics for a large portion of our lives, so, you know, we're familiar with a lot of the characters and continuity. I don't know.
I've been reading religiously comics for about 6 days now, so I'm a total 100% expert. No, I'd say, like, you know, it started with Spider-Man and Venom stuff, you know, the animated series back when I was like 8 years old, and I'd say, you know, starting to buy some trades there. You know, now I'm just a huge dork. So
cool. Yeah, so we're gonna be letting the term is nerd, Tyler.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna be talking about our favorite books, favorite heroes, what we think is going on in the books, our opinions on, you know, the art, the writing, you know, what we think is good, what we think is bad. What comes next, and what we're excited for in the coming months. And we'll also be talking about, you know, things like the new Superman movie that's coming out here pretty soon, and, you know, stuff like that. So anyways, we're going to start talking about the books that we enjoyed the most this week, starting with Marvel's new series, Uncanny Avengers, which is written by Rick Remender and illustrated by John Cassaday. They're up to issue 3 now, so that's the issue we're going to be talking about today. So if you haven't read issues 1 and 2, get on it. Anyways, in Uncanny Avengers, the Red Skull. I'm a bit confused about this part. Is it his clone, or is it
clone that he made in World War II?
Yeah.
Just woke up. So
it's this clone of the Red. So the actual Red Skull is dead. But this Red Skull has just woken up from being frozen. From World War II, and has just fused his mind with Professor X from the X-Men, and is trying to take over the world and kill all the mutants by using Professor X's telepathic capabilities. And so Captain America has assembled this special team of Avengers that's comprised of Avengers that you know people know and love, like Wolverine and Thor, but also with some characters that are mutants to kind of like balance it out and make it more of a mutant squad than just a superhero team. So in this issue, things kind of hit the pavement, and it's the Red Skull's attack on New York, and he has Scarlet Witch and Rogue under his brain control, or his mind control, and is mind-washing the entire city of New York to hate mutants, and he's using Professor X's ability to make it so that normal humans can see people that have the X trait, so that they can attack and more than likely kill them. So
I think my favorite part of this is actually that aspect right there. You get this Red Skull clone who is very Emperor Palpatine-ish kind of style, you know, like if you read any of the expanded universe Star Wars, you know that that's a big theme. But this Red Skull clone, I mean, he's Red Skull to a T as far as the Nazi propaganda, and that's his whole move, is the mutant hating is he's totally taking, you know, that playbook and revamping it.
Nice thing about that is that it's not the Red Skull that's been around for so long that kind of got boring and
too true.
You know, kind of was always going after Captain America. Now he's this crazy guy, wants to kill all mutants. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Ties it back to World War II.
Yeah, and at the same time, though, Captain America is involved, and he hasn't really gone head-to-head with this new Red Skull yet, but He is involved. He's kind of overseeing the team, even though it's Havoc that's actually running the team. So Havoc is the leader, but Captain America is still very much involved. And I actually have the book open here in front of me right now. I'm just flipped to this page where Captain America is starting to kind of be succumbed to Professor Xavier's abilities, and is kind of starting to feel this hatred towards the mutants too. And he's trying to overcome that and help his team. It's a great series, and the I don't know where would you say it's going.
Well, it ends with Red Skull mind controlling Thor, which is a little nutty.
Which it was so creepy. I mean, when you read it, you get this whole sense of the Red Skulls using the telepathic abilities to play off of the pride and vanity that we all see in Thor sometimes. And not only is he using that, but then he talks about him like he's the ideal, you know, he's this Aryan, blue-eyed, you know, pinnacle of strength and wonder. And
well,
it's
not just that, but also as you're well aware, the actual Nazis used a lot of Norse religion and Norse mythology in their campaigns, you know, their political campaigns and stuff like that. So it's interesting. He actually, the Red Skull actually talks about how he's the Thor is like their ideal or whatever. One of the other cool things in this issue that was kind of cool to see is there's some cool new mutants that the Red Skull has under his employ, and one of the more interesting ones is Honest John, who is living propaganda, which the Red Skull is using to convince Thor to work for him.
He sees him as Odin.
Yeah. Honest John appears as your ideal leader. So for Thor, it's Odin.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He's just quite a great issue. I really was pleased with it. I can't wait to see where it's going.
Really can't wait to see where it's going. But if you're not reading this series already, you definitely should get into it because it's one of the best series that Marvel's got.
This is New Guardians 16 actually, and it's written by Tony Bedard and illustrated by Aaron Kuder. This is going off. Is that how you pronounce it? Kuder. We'll say something like that. Kuder sounds a lot more sophisticated.
If you know how, tell you what, if you know how to say it, comment in the comment section.
We would appreciate that. Sorry, Aaron. We'll say that. So yeah, it's needless to say, Green Lantern New Guardians 16 is picking up on the Rise of the Third Army arc, which is currently going on in Green Lantern, which is something that I'm really enjoying. And New Guardians finds us with Kyle, the Green Lantern, who has now been trying to master all 7 of the emotions of the emotional spectrum. And so we see him in this issue. He's actually mastered 6 of the 7, and love is the final emotion that he's trying to master on the home planet of Zamaron for the Star Sapphires. And I really enjoyed it because you get to peek into Kyle's past of who he has cared for and loved throughout his life, and there's a big pull emotionally between him and Ganthet, and I really thought that writing was awesome.
He battles in that, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think one of the things that, and Andy was talking about this, I think one of the things that I really have been enjoying about New Guardians is it's I don't know. I think that it's more interesting than any of the other Green Lantern titles that are out right now because, you know, with Green Lantern, we're not even following Hal right now. We're following this new Green Lantern, which is interesting. But the battle that Kyle is going through, trying to master all these emotions, is really interesting and kind of adds a lot more diversity to his character. Because I don't know. He's always been kind of the Lantern that I care the least about. Like, I mean, to be fair, I don't really like Guy Gardner at all. But like even Guy
Gardner's funny.
But yeah, even Guy Gardner is like entertaining, and like Kyle has just always kind of been kind of really second fiddle to me compared to all the other Lanterns. So it's nice to see like kind of some something interesting about him, and like that he's the one that they trust the most to get all these emotional spectrums under control.
Interesting too, because Jeff Johns usually, you know, I'm sure he came up with the Third Army. I'm sure it's his story, but all the important stuff seems to be happening in New Guardians. Like Kyle seems like the ultimate weapon they're gonna need against this Third Army.
It's showing it rather than telling it. I mean, you're seeing Kyle, just hop from one planet to another, mastering these emotions. And now, and with this issue, I think the best culminating part is that Kyle has the most difficult time with love, it seems like, and the Zamorons even say in the issue he's got a mental block. And I think that's kind of the sexist vibe they're going for, that Star Sapphires really can't be males in general. But basically by the end, I mean, Kyle uses all 6 of his strengths against Ganthet. The Zamorons and the Star Sapphires help him. They basically have Ganthet put down, and then Kyle is the one who wants them to pull the brakes, because he still loves Ganthet. He still believes that there's some good to his old mentor and friend who chose him to be, the savior of the Corps, really. And to me, that was like the best part. And then, of course, what does Ganthet do? Well, he blows him away through his chest cavity, and luckily the love that Kyle feels for him enables him to channel the Star Sapphire energy, and then go ahead, say it. I can't even say it.
He becomes a White Lantern. He heals himself.
Yeah, and for those of you who aren't aware of the what the White Lanterns are all about, you'll have to check out Blackest Night and Brightest Day. That's where we discovered who
absolutely
that there was another corps called the White Lanterns.
If you're a Green Lantern fan,
if you're a Green
I'm
Lantern
sure
fan,
you've read those already.
If you're a Green, if you should be a Green Lantern fan.
Art's really good on the book. All around awesome.
Yeah.
So now we're going to turn over to Andy, and he's going to talk about Matt Fraction's new project with the FF.
Oh, yeah, I just want to get back to New Guardians for a second here. The writer, I think, deserves some talking about. We just said, the art is superb, and
yeah. So we were actually
Bedard.
we were actually talking about how Tony Bedard has been writing, not New Guardians. I guess he was doing Green Lantern Corps.
Green Lantern Corps, yeah.
Is he still doing Green Lantern Corps?
Nope.
No,
Peter J. Tomasi.
Yeah, that's right. Tomasi's doing it.
But all 3 of them have been in cahoots together.
Yep.
Johns, Bedard, Tomasi. I mean,
so we just wanted to clarify, because we were talking about how it seems like Tony Bedard's run on New Guardians may be more important than actually Jeff Johns, what Jeff Johns is working on with this whole Third Army thing. But we were actually we wanted to clarify. We think they were actually kind of all working together on this storyline, so that it's not really just Jeff Johns' project. That Tony Bedard is probably also a big part of it. Because remember when he what the heck was that run called, where there's like the the Last Guardian or whatever came in.
War of the Green Lanterns.
War of the Green Lanterns, yes. In War of the Green Lanterns, it was in Bedard's run where where he killed
Mogo.
Killed Mogo.
So
fantastic issue.
He
John
does do some
Stewart
crazy
is
things.
so good in that issue too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really see also how that kind of theme is definitely being carried through New Guardians. I mean, it's definitely it shows you all of the different spectrums, how they're interacting with each other, and the end of this issue in particular with Kyle becoming the White Lantern. We won't tell you how it ends or what his plan is, but I mean, you really want to pick this up.
Yeah.
So anyways, now we're going to talk about FF, and I actually haven't read this issue yet, Andy, so
No
you're going to be
worries, man.
probably the
And I
lead on
figure
this.
I should get everyone up to date anyways. Matt Fraction has taken over the Fantastic Four, and in his story, he's had the whole first, original 4 leave and go into space on a sort of field trip with the intentions of Reed Richards finding a cure for this new disease he's found in their powers. I guess they're starting to die now.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Fantastic Four's gonna die.
Nobody knows but Reed.
Wow.
Yeah,
He just discovered it.
he discovered that like their powers are starting to destroy their bodies. So like Reed Richards, he like extended his arm and like it started to kind of like tear apart, like when you snap a rubber band. It's starting to kind of like do that. So he's noticed that like it's kind of like almost like cancer, where like the cells are destroying themselves and deteriorating. So
Pretty nasty looking too.
so yeah, that's happening in
The art's
Fantastic
great.
Four, and he's left a new group in charge as like the Fantastic Four of Earth while they're out in space trying to figure out what's going on, and that's what FF is about.
Yeah, and he had everyone pick who they wanted to replace themselves. So Johnny forgot and picked his girlfriend at the last second. Or what's her face? Invisible Woman picked Medusa, Queen of the Immortals or Inhumans, and then She-Hulk is replacing the Thing, and Reed has picked Ant-Man to replace himself, who's pretty cool.
And it's not Hank Pym Ant-Man.
Right.
It's what is the new guy's
Scott
name?
Lang.
Yeah, Scott Lang.
He was a scientist, not as smart as Hank Pym, and I guess he's lost his daughter, so there's a lot of emotional trauma with that, taking over the FF and having all these children around, and it's a really exciting series. In this latest issue, we've discovered Johnny Storm is the last one to have survived the Fantastic Four's trip to space, and he's come back through the portal, freaking out and old and gray-haired, and he tells them all that Doctor Doom, Annihilus, and Kang the Conqueror combined into one being and killed all of the Fantastic Four, and like was hunting them through time and space. So now the new FF has decided that they're going to go after Doom because it was his plan, of course, because he's Doctor Doom, and they've decided that they think they can take him, which is
yet again
absurd.
proving that Doctor Doom will always be the best nemesis for the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
I love it.
And if you're not familiar with Matt Fraction, he prior to the Marvel Now series of books that are coming out, he wrote the Invincible Iron Man, and he's I don't know, he's not that was kind of an odd turn for him because he's really good at like these kind of like
science fiction, mind-blowing type things.
Yeah, and like his run on Iron Man, like because Iron Man is obviously a science fiction hero, but it wasn't quite as science fiction-y as this FF series has been. So this is, and if you've ever read anything by Matt Fraction, he also did Casanova, and that was also kind of a weird science fiction, psychedelic sort of thing. So he's really good at that kind of stuff. So this is really a cool project that he's doing, and the art has just been outstanding in it so far.
Michael Allred is awesome. He got this weird mixture of retro and like highly detailed, and
yeah, and he did was it Madman or
he created Madman.
Yeah. So it's definitely a series worth checking out, and if you're already reading Fantastic Four, it actually clears up a lot of questions that you might have that's going on in that series because the two are kind of intertwined.
One last thing I have to say about it, I've never really been into the Fantastic Four, even through Hickman's run. It was a little too confusing for me to get into, and Fraction has really kind of made it fresh and exciting for me again. It's one of my new favorites of Marvel now.
All right, so now
Switch gears.
we're going to switch gears here. We're actually going to talk about something that didn't come out this week, but is kind of the hype of the comic book realm right now. So we're going to talk about Batman number 16 when we come back.